Love not the world. The rapture is coming soon. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 and 4. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. In Apostle Paul's second letter to the church in Thessalonica, he informed them on the signs of the end time, and how that there must be a falling away first, before the Antichrist is revealed, and that the Antichrist must be revealed before the second coming of Christ. Now that we are in the end time and rapture is near, we are experiencing the falling away of the world and the falling away of the church. Many people have deviated from the standard of God, and sin is becoming the order of the day, as different societies now celebrate sinful practices in the name of society. Sin is everywhere around us, and we need to trust God the more to live a life of righteousness in our day. The Bible tells us, however, that where sin abounds, grace abounds much more. As we hold on to Christ the more, we find His grace helping us to walk through the fallen world without falling in love with this world. Jesus told us that although we are in the world, we are not of the world. This means that we are not expected to live according to the standard of the world, or be influenced by its trend. The devil has blinded the eyes of many to the eternal consequences of sin, and all they care for is the momentary pleasure that sin brings. There is hardly any remorse shown for sin in our time, because people have hardened their hearts against the laws of God. They have chosen for themselves what is right and what is wrong. As believers, we are going to keep the standard of God, like Lot and his family did in the abominable land of Sodom. Then we must put our affection on heavenly things and look away from the pleasures of this world. Colossians 3, 1-3 says, If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God. There is no doubt that anyone that seeks earthly things, or set his or her affection on them, will also fall away with the world. We are citizens of heaven, and we are warned against imbibing the culture of the world. The system of this world is contrary to the constitution of heaven that governs the life of believers on earth. We must therefore keep in mind that friendship with this world is direct enmity with God. Fundamentally, friendship with this world is direct enmity with God. One mistake you never want to make is to fall in love with this world. Let me not lie to you. Allow me to tell you the cold, hard truth. This world has pleasures. It has allures. It has things that will tempt you, things that on a surface level look appealing, and things that will give you and bring you a great deal of pleasure for a season. And that is the deceptive nature of sin. Sin will make you only see and feel the pleasures and blind you of all the potential consequences it will bring. There are Christian ministers who attempt to paint the picture that there is no pleasure in sin. There is a pleasure in sin, a tremendous amount of pleasure that does not last, and it will cost you. The pleasure of sin will cost you. The Bible is clear about that. Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. We are moving towards the rapture, and even as I am preaching this message, there are some people who are making the mistakes of their lives, stating that they will get serious with God later on in life. They are claiming they will get serious with God next year, next week, or when they get married? Who told you you will see next week? Who told you you will see next month? Who told you the rapture won't happen 10 minutes from now? The time is now to get serious with God. Do not love this world. It will not last. This is one of the greatest tricks of the devil, to get people to be in love with this world so much so that they don't focus on things that truly matter, and that is your eternal life. God is a forgiving God. Right now, ask for forgiveness. Right now, confess your sins to Him. You don't need to run to a deacon or a pastor, but run to God right now and confess and repent. What guarantees that we will keep standing in a fallen world is our faith in Christ and reliance on His grace. Hebrews 12:1 admonishes us to look unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith. Looking consistently unto Jesus Christ helps us to avoid worldly distractions. It is true that whatever you focus on will definitely win your heart. If you keep your gaze on the pleasures of the world, you cannot avoid falling into sin and falling alongside with the world. But if you keep your gaze on Christ, not only will He mean the source of your salvation, He will also be at the last end of your race to finish that which He has begun in you. This world is full of allurements from the devil, and the way we can keep our faith growing is to avoid looking passionately at the world system, but unto Christ. There are so many allurements in this world. Are you focusing on Christ, or are you focusing on the allurements of this world? Pride is an allurement. You are good at a particular thing, or you're rich, or you are good looking, or you have an advantage over others at something in particular, and people around you worship and adore you because of this. Pride is an allurement. Sex and lust is an allurement, where all you think about is fornication or adultery. It can dictate your life. It can pull you to mess up your life. Money is an allurement, where you are willing to put your relationship with God on the back seat to chase after money. Your job can be an allurement, which is silly. That job was there before you were there, and it will be there long after you are gone. Why on earth are you prioritizing it over your love for Christ? Love not the world. The rapture is coming soon. Truth be told, the world will offer you pleasure, but that will be at the expense of your eternal life with God. Why then should we subscribe to such a dangerous exchange that could leave one in eternal regrets? The reason God gives grace to His children is so that they can be strong against sin. The Bible explains that we cannot be tempted above what we are able to bear. More so, in every temptation, God always provides a way of escape. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. That said, what comes first, if we will live righteously in this fallen world, is the consciousness that we are not of this world. As ambassadors of Christ and citizens of heaven, our culture is different from that of the world. We have a lifestyle the world cannot conform to, and we cannot afford to compromise our stand, seeing that we have a better eternal heritage. Secondly, we cannot live like the world, because the world will perish with those that follow its trend. 1 John 2:15-17 warns, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Everything you see in the world today, including all the fashions and trends and pleasures, are only passing away alongside those that have a grip on them. Living for Christ in a fallen world is the only hope of eternity with God. There is no doubt that the world has fallen, because there is no better way to define people who forget the essence of their existence: God. It is only those that will do the will of God that will abide forever. God cannot be mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that he will reap. The world has nothing to offer to those who follow its trend. But our God is sure. He rewards His people on earth and also in eternity. Love not the world. The rapture is coming soon.